This isn't a cry for help. I'm not asking for sympathy. And I wouldn't wish this on my worst enemy. PTSD doesn't make you special. It doesn't make you strong. It doesn't make you interesting. It just sucks. Not loudly, not dramatically. It drains things quietly. Sleep, patience, enjoyment. Most days it's just exhausting. Not because I'm afraid, because my brain never shuts up. Every day takes work. Work to stay even. Work to not snap. Work to not disappear into my own head. People think PTSD is about memories. It isn't. It's friction. Everything costs more effort than it should. I'm a disgruntled combat veteran, a paratrooper, a flight medic with the 160th Special Operations Aviation Regiment, Desert Storm. Later, Army National Guard, Afghanistan as a combat medic. I did the job. This is the bill. The war doesn't follow you home all at once. It shows up in small moments. Standing in a grocery store line, picking cereal, running a patrol brief in my head, scanning exits, watching hands. Normal people are choosing Frosted Flakes. I'm choosing movement. Then there are the smells, diesel, burned rubber, hot asphalt. Most people smell a parking lot. I smell deployment. Something drops behind me. My body reacts before my brain checks in.
Combat trained this response. Peace never untrained it.
Then I look around and it's nothing. That's PTSD, not brokenness. Training that never shut off. A normal brain spikes and resets.
I learned to stay ready because hesitation killed people.
This one doesn't. Adrenaline fires too easily. Stress chemicals don't clear. Alert never fully drops. That's hypervigilance.
Night taught my brain that stillness means danger.
Serotonin runs low, patience shortens, dopamine dulls, nothing feels rewarding. That's the numbness. That's why people chase anything that changes the channel. Once stress is up, it stays up. A normal brain asks if something is dangerous. This one asks if it could become dangerous. It treats both the same. That isn't weakness. That's survival learned too well. PTSD explains reactions. It doesn't excuse behavior. If you know your wiring is hot, managing it is your responsibility. Trauma didn't lower the bar. It raised it. There are days a dark thought flashes through my head. Not a plan, not an action, just a thought. It shows up and it leaves. That's an intrusive thought. It doesn't mean I'm out of control. It means the system still knows how to flip fast.
Stand down doesn't exist once you've paid this price.
What pisses me off is the system pretending this is simple. Every appointment asks the same question. Do you have suicidal thoughts? They don't want honesty. They want a safe answer.
When everything goes quiet, my system gets louder. Nothing out there still meant something was coming.
Because honesty gets you locked down, labeled, stripped of trust and rights. So we say no, not because it's true, because it's survival. They leave thinking everything's fine. They have no idea how close some of us live to the edge, not because we want to cross it, because we're balancing. It's a thin line. Thoughts aren't actions. Awareness isn't danger. I've never crossed it. I don't intend to. That silence after no isn't wellness. It's self-preservation. I didn't find one medication and feel better. I tried several. SSRIs flattened everything. Not calm, muted. Amitriptyline knocked me out and stole the next day. Valproic acid dulled things in the wrong way. Buspirone turned me into a zombie. Functional, absent. Some medications don't heal. They make you easier to manage. Melatonin didn't fix nights. It helped mark them. That mattered. Wellbutrin came with warnings. More edge, more activation. I chose it anyway. PTSD already took enough. It gave me clarity. Not calm, clarity. Comfort wasn't the goal. Control was. Here's what PTSD really steals: pleasure, going out, loud music, dancing in a crowd, that stupid hope that maybe the night would end better than it started. Gone. Crowds feel heavy. Instead of excitement, there's calculation. Instead of anticipation, there's exit planning. PTSD doesn't add fear. It subtracts joy, slowly, over years. One day you realize you've been doing the same things and getting nothing back. I feel like a shell of the man I used to be, not broken, worn thin. And somewhere in there, time disappears. Years pass quietly. You've been managing instead of living. People ask what helps, not what fixes it. What keeps me upright? The gun range helps.
I'm not angry. I'm loaded.
Not anger. Control. Clear rules. Clear outcomes. My breathing slows. Gardening helps. Dirt. Quiet work. Things that grow because I showed up. That makes sense. I don't watch war movies. I don't need reenactments. I don't talk about most of it. Not because I can't. Because reopening things isn't the same as healing. I don't make civilian friends. That offends people. Distance keeps me functional. I bury a lot of this deep. Sometimes it comes back out hard. It's ugly. It stays contained. I avoid groups, crowds, concerts. Movies are empty theaters and visible exits. Being alone isn't loneliness. It's relief.
My nervous system still thinks contact is coming.
Fireworks still get me. My body doesn't hear celebration. It hears chaos. So I manage it. Distance, preparation, control. Eventually someone reaches for the word hero. I shut that down. I'm not a hero. I did the job. I'm still paying for it. This isn't inspiration. It's adaptation. It kept me alive then. It keeps me functional now. You don't go back to who you were. What's left learns how to live anyway. That's not hope. That's reality. You see these viral posts every 4th of July. Veterans begging for mercy because fireworks trigger them. Yard signs and suburban lawns. Please be courteous. PTSD veteran lives here. Group therapy circles full of guys unloading trauma stories that don't add up. Old-timers from the Cold War or Vietnam era acting like they came home from the same war the rest of us did. Enough. Here's the part nobody wants to say out loud. And then there's the other kind. The ones who put up those pathetic little yard signs. Please be courteous with fireworks. Veteran with PTSD lives here. Fuck that. Fuck you if that's you. You're not managing shit. You're broadcasting weakness, begging strangers for sympathy like some kicked puppy. You think that sign makes you noble? It makes you look broken. And worse, it makes the rest of us look broken by association. I've had rockets going off in my head since '91. I've flinched. I've dropped. I've white-knuckled it through the 4th like everyone else who's been downrange. But I don't advertise it on my goddamn lawn. I don't need the neighborhood's permission to exist. I handle my shit. Quietly. Like a man. You put up that sign, you're not raising awareness. You're raising pity. And every time some civilian sees it, they think, yeah, vets are fragile. Can't even handle fireworks. Congratulations. You just made the rest of us look like pieces of shit. And don't get me started on the PTSD group meetings. The circle of folding chairs where everybody unloads. There's always a few who don't belong there. You can spot them a mile away. The ones trying real hard to convince themselves, and everybody else, that they've got it. The routine is always the same. They're usually the supply clerk, the admin pog, the guy who spent the whole deployment inside the wire on a big safe fob. Never rolled outside the gate, never heard a round crack overhead, never smelled burning shitters mixed with JP8 and fear, but now they're in group talking about trauma. They never mention a specific patrol, a convoy that got hit, an IED that cooked off 10 meters away, because they weren't there. They can't. So instead, they talk in circles about feelings, how stressed they were, how the rocket alerts made their heart race. Give me a fucking break. Then you hear it, the tell. They bring up those goddamn yard signs. Yeah, I had to put one up because the 4th of July is just too much for me. That's when you know. If fireworks in suburban America are your biggest trigger, you didn't earn this seat. You're cosplaying damage. Some of them are straight up gaming the system, chasing that 100% rating, that check, that parking placard. They exaggerate, embellish, flat out invent. Meanwhile, the rest of us, the ones who actually dragged bodies into birds under fire, who watched friends disappear in red mist, are sitting there quiet, because talking about the real shit rips the scab off. And let's clear the air on something else that's been pissing me off for years. Not everyone who put on the uniform went to combat. Not everyone who deployed to a combat zone actually did any combat shit. And that's fine. Somebody had to turn wrenches, push paper, cook chow, guard the gate. The machine doesn't run without those jobs. Own it. Be proud of it. But don't pretend it was something it wasn't. Cold War vets. Vietnam-era vets who never left CONUS or got anywhere near the shit. You served. You did your time. You kept the watch during a long standoff. Respect for that, but quit acting like you came home from war with the same weight the rest of us carry. You weren't in the jungle getting leeches and malaria. You weren't dodging NVA mortars or tripping booby traps. You were stationed in Germany pounding beers at the Gast House every weekend, or in Korea chasing tail on Hooker Hill and pulling guard duty hungover. That's what it was. It wasn't combat. It wasn't patrols, convoys, incoming, medevacs under fire. It wasn't watching your buddies get turned inside out by an IED or a rocket. So when real combat vets are trying to deal with the actual fallout, don't pipe up with your I served too stories like they're equivalent.
My eyes never learned how to stop hunting.
They're not. You did your bit. You earned your benefits, your flag at the funeral, your thank you for your service. Take that and be good with it. But stop pretending you went to war when you didn't. Stop trying to sit at the same table and trade stories you don't have. It cheapens what the ones who actually bled for it live with every single day. We didn't survive war to come home and play victim. We survived it to keep living anyway. If fireworks drop you, fine. Stay inside, wear headphones, drive out to the sticks. Do what you gotta do. But don't hang a neon sign saying, handle with care, I might break. And don't show up pretending you carried the same load. That's not brotherhood, that's theft. That's embarrassment. Yeah, I said it. Someone had to. Let's talk about the places that are supposed to be the heart of veteran brotherhood. The ones with the flags out front and the big signs, VFW, American Legion, AM vets. What are they really? Geriatric watering holes. That's it. Walk into most posts today, and you're hit with the smell. Stale cigarette smoke baked into the walls.
If you're post 9/11, you're tolerated. You're not welcomed.
For decades. Moldy carpet, spilled beer that never got cleaned up right. The bar is the center of the universe. Cheap drafts, pull tabs, bingo nights, and a room full of old-timers getting loaded while reliving stories from wars most of them barely touched. The average age, pushing 70, 80, some places damn near 90. The main purpose is to get drunk and complain about how things aren't like they used to be. Social engagement with veterans under 55, under 50, forget it. Zero.
These places aren't brotherhood. They're retirement bars with flags.
They don't have it, they don't want it, and they wouldn't know what to do with a GWAT vet if one walked in. I went to my local American Legion to join. Retired military, combat time, the whole package. Guy at the desk looks me up and down and asks if I want to sign up for the auxiliary, like I'm some spouse or granddaughter tagging along. I pull out my retired military ID card. He shrugs. That doesn't mean anything to me. You need to bring in your DD-2 form. Okay, rules are rules. I mention I transferred from posts down south. Show him my old VFW and Legion membership cards. Doesn't care. Wants the paperwork. So I bring the DD-2 Get approved. Go to the bar one time, just looking for some camaraderie. Someone who gets it. What do I see? More auxiliary members pounding drinks than actual veterans. Wives, kids, grandkids of vets. Half of them 3 sheets to the wind, talking loud about shit they never lived. I don't drink. I could give 2 shits what some civilian hanger-on thinks in a Legion bar. I was there for brothers, for that nod across the room that says, I know what you carry. Instead, I got suspicious stares from gatekeepers and small talk about prostate exams and back in my day. I never went back. Haven't stepped foot in a Legion, VFW, or AMVET since. AMVET's counts, don't get me wrong, it's legit, more open than the others. But most posts, same vibe, same smell, same crowd. These places act like they're the sacred ground of veteran life. But if you're post 9/11, if you're GWAT, if you don't fit their Vietnam-era mold, you're tolerated at best. You're the kid crashing Grandpa's bar. They're dying off, literally, and too stubborn, too comfortable in their haze to change. They'd rather fade away than figure out how to welcome the generations that came after them. My type of veteran isn't welcome there. And you know what? I'm done trying to fit in a room that doesn't want me. Real brotherhood isn't in those moldy halls anymore. It's out here with the ones who show up, handle their shit, and don't need a bar tab to prove they served. Yeah, I said it. Someone had to. You want to know what the fuck actually triggers me? Not the bullshit people assume. It's men screaming in pain, children crying helplessly, the smell of burned blood, spent ammo hanging thick in the air. That's the shit that drops me. I knew I was triggered on the flight home for leave out of Afghanistan. Some guy on the airplane, packed full of us rotating out, starts screaming medic in his sleep, raw, gut-wrenching, like he's reliving the moment all over again. The whole bird goes quiet. I froze harder than anyone else. To this day, I still hear it. Randomly, clear as fucking day. Someone screaming, medic! I play it off as tinnitus. Yeah, just ringing in my ears. Bullshit. It's him. It's always him. Before Afghanistan, with my guard unit, I finally did something for myself. I'd worked my ass off my entire life. Active duty, then weekend warrior with the guard, nursing school, grinding hospital shifts. Finally making real money, bought a beautiful Corvette, cherry red, fast. Perfect. Every time I got behind the wheel, it felt like proof I'd made it. Thinking about that car still makes me smile and fills me with pure rage at the exact same time. A month after I signed the papers, the unit got activated. Shit happens. I went. I did the job, came home on leave, and the change was already there. Not only did I start hearing medic in my head, but I started driving with rage. Rage that one of the guys in the unit got killed. Rage that the man who bought that Corvette wasn't coming back the same person. Got home for good after the deployment and went back to work as a registered nurse at the hospital. Things were not the same. I used to be the guy everyone called for the hard IV starts, steady hands, calm under pressure, no miss. Then one day this patient starts crying and moaning like a little bitch over a simple stick. Excessive, uncontrolled, helpless sobbing. It hit me like incoming. My hands started shaking, nerves on fire. I told him straight, "You're going to have to stop crying." He didn't. I couldn't do it. Walked out. Started getting thoughts about that beautiful Corvette. Dark thoughts. Crashing it. On purpose. Just to make the noise stop. Just to end the rage. I'd be driving down the highway and the thought would flash. Jerk the wheel hard. Aim for the guardrail or a bridge abutment. Never acted on it. But the fact that it was there. I had to get rid of the car. Sold it. Couldn't trust myself behind that wheel anymore. There are songs about it. People talk about the thin line we walk. That line doesn't just bend. It breaks, quietly. One day you look in the mirror and realize the man you were is gone, replaced by someone who flinches at helpless crying, who hears ghosts screaming medic on airplanes, who can't even keep the one luxury that proved he'd made it. That's what triggers me. That's what it took from me. I see what it's done to me. Yeah, I said it. Someone had to. This is reality. This is brotherhood. This is disgruntled combat veteran.